It's November 2014, and this month we're going to talk about the prophetic books in the Old Testament. If you go to the table of contents in the Old Testament, you'll see a list of books, and at the end, starting with Isaiah and through Malachi, you'll see a list of prophets and the books that they wrote. Now I've done a slight division here. The first four on our right include Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, and Daniel. Then there are 12 prophets who are sometimes referred to as the minor prophets, from Hosea down to Malachi. They're referred to as minor because these are shorter books, and they've been grouped together in some older collections. Today I want to talk a little bit about where these prophets fit in terms of the Old Testament chronology. And so to do that, we're going to look at something that the church produced and put into the September 1980 issue of the Ensign. So you can find that online if you want to look at this again later on your own. Here's the Old Testament chronology starting with Adam, and it's shown to scale, which means the first part of it covers a lot about the patriarchs. And so you can see the book of Genesis covers this first section. We get then to where the chronology covers the three geographic areas: Egypt, the land of Canaan and Mesopotamia, and it describes what's happening in each. We're interested in the writings of the prophets, and so we're going to go further down. What you see here are a few things I want to highlight. You see, of course, the split in the two kingdoms after Solomon dies. So we have the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom of Judah. And then what you'll see here is these lines going from what's happening in the kingdom of the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, where there are lines going to first Assyria and then Babylon. And these are, of course, when they are taken captive. And then there's lines coming back, which marks the times when those populations are returned to the land of Israel. So this is part of the scattering and gathering that occurred in ancient times. Now, what I want to highlight, of course, is how when the prophets were writing relative to these events. And first, actually, so we'll move down, and what we'll see here at the bottom is they have kind of a truncated version of these major moments. So it talks about there being the divided kingdom, the period of exile, and then the return of the Jews. And down here in this blue, you see these are the writings of the Old Testament books. And most of the prophets are down here in this section. And if you kind of look up, you'll see that most of these prophets are writing during the time of either the exile or the return of the Jews. And so they're writing at the time of, when either right before or during or right after the time of the scattering and gathering. And so this is a theme that permeates what they write and think about. And as we refer to their readings, that's something I think is worth us realizing, is that they're very much thinking about the scattering and gathering, not only of their own day, but of a future day. And so that's something that we're going to see in their writings